Fuck's up, man. Get money. Hello. This is the Negro Exciting News Fun Show, and I'm your host, DJ S. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the like the title says, pollution, environment, climate change, agenda equals back to the Stone Age. Please excuse me. Right. So basically, you know, I mean, I've been hearing about this for a long time now. Yeah. Like maybe, how long ago was that? Must be 7 years ago. You know, I saw a video on YouTube which said, what was it? The new age of the old barbarian, something like that. So I watched this video and they were saying that, you know, the people who run the world have come to the conclusion that humanity has gone too far forward. So what they want to do, they want to regress humanity. They want humanity to go back. And I thought, what a load of fucking rubbish, mate. That's total and out of shit. That's what I thought. Then like 6 months later, I could see, you know, certain things that would come on proper TV, announcements made on the radio that, hold on, that might be true. That video, back to the Stone Age thing, that might be true. There might be something in it because they keep making announcements now. Because what you watch on the internet, conspiracy, but when you're hearing this stuff coming on BBC, ITV, proper TV network, BBC radio, LBC radio, you know, you got to start thinking. So that leads me right now to the present time. And what they're talking about yesterday is like, you know, they want, maybe we should stop flying, you know, stop flying. Then obviously car emissions, they're always trying to do something with cars. You know, they told the people use diesel, it's better for the environment, it's cheaper. I mean, that was literally only 3-4 years ago. Then everyone got diesel cars and now, oh, you can't use diesel cars anymore, it's bad for the environment. You get an extra kind of charge. They've already have congestion charge. That is another kind of charge for, you know, people using petrol engines and diesel engines, and you know, there's every excuse to kind of like fine you and stop you from basically making progress going forward. Yeah. So we're the conspiracy theorists. You know, seem like total utter nutcases. They're not crazy. Everything they were saying, you can see it's coming true. They're literally saying, you know, they don't want you to heat your house. Yeah. They don't want you to heat your house. Maybe you should use less electricity. Power outages. Yeah. And you have to ask yourself, where does this end? Yeah. Now, you know, when I first heard all of this stuff, they were saying zero carbon by 2035. There'll be zero carbon. Yeah. 2035, zero carbon. So I was thinking, well, a bit of time. Yeah. But you hear this year, like 2035, and it sounds like far away, but really, right about now, that's only 16 years away. And when I first heard all of this, yeah, you know, that was like 19 years away. You know, I was only hearing this stuff like 3 years ago. They started all this stuff. You know, because you see the number, when they write 2035, it seems like, it's a long way away. But it's not. It's just around the corner. Yeah. So first it was 2035. The next I knew they were saying it was 2030. 2030, this will happen, that will happen, zero carbon. Yeah. Then what was it, about 2 days ago they were talking on LBC radio, and a man was talking, he was saying obviously this man belonged to organization. It wasn't any Tom, Dick, or Harry. Belonged to this organization about climate change, and he represents the government and this think tank and that think tank. Yeah, he was saying, well, first we wanted it to be 2035, then 20. No, he said 2035. Then he said, but realistically now we realize, so now we're changing the date to 2050. Yeah. He said it's reasonable. I think he said 2045 actually, because I remember it was 5 years extra he added on, and think it's possible to achieve what they want to achieve. Yeah. So whatever the case is, the date they're coming out now with is 2050. The 2050, you can say that's 51 years or 50 years. They want to eliminate carbon emissions from people's houses. Carbon emissions, yeah? One way or another, they're going to have carbon emissions. I mean, even now, they got taxis in London, electric taxis, and it's very spooky because there's no noise. I mean, you can hear but you cannot hear any motor vehicle engine noise, which is strange. I mean, you grow up and engines from a bus, a motorbike, a car, airplane, it's always, it's like there's no noise. So what's going to happen in the future? If everything's quiet and you make a noise, what's going to happen? Like Demolition Man, a little robot's going to fly in front of your face and issue you a fine because you've made a noise. I mean, it's very spooky. It's unnatural. Yeah. I mean, the taxi, you got this big, gigantic taxi, biggest taxis. Yeah, in fact, it looked like a hearse. Yeah, huge taxi, enormous taxi. Yeah, I think taxis are only licensed to carry 4 people. I'm not sure, but this taxi looked like it can carry 10 people. But yeah. So, like I'm saying, where does it all end? I mean, to me, it sounds like, and another thing that's important, they used to call human beings carbon units. If, they find a skeleton somewhere, let's say they found a skeleton in the Caucasus Mountains. I said, yes, the skeleton is 6,000 years old. What are they going to do to test if it is really 6,000 years old? They're going to, carbon date it. So like, seems to be a little technical issue with the connection, but it seems to be okay. So I'll continue. Yeah, it's 2050. Yeah. What they're saying, there'll be no electricity in your house. There'll be no gas. Yeah. I mean, a while back I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about, UK people finding work, and this UK guy rang up. He was talking about his training, and he just casually mentioned that he was doing a gas course, and that they'd be phasing gas out of people's homes. I think at that time it was probably 2017. He said 2016 or 2017. Yeah. And then he just said it and carried on talking. And I was like, oh, what did he just say? And then luckily the presenter, who was James Whale, said, what did you say? And he just reversed back and he said, yeah. He's doing this course, but, they're going to get gas out of people's homes. So basically, you're going to have no gas in your house, for central heating or for hot water. They don't want you to lose electricity. Yeah, you can't drive. Yeah, there's going to be a food shortage. Water will be precious, the good stuff. We saw that movie, The Book of Eli, with Denzel Washington. He went to the bar and he asked for a pint or a glass. I'm sorry, we appear to be having a lot of technical issues because of internet connection and poor internet speed, etc., etc., etc. So let me be quick and conclude this video. Now, what was I saying now? There'll be no electricity in your house. Yeah, they don't want people to have children anymore. Everything's geared towards right now. What they're saying is that you can have 2 children, but if you want to have a 3rd or 4th or 5th, there'll be no child benefit. Yeah, so basically, there's a 2-child policy now in the UK. Yeah, and probably all over the Western world too. Yeah. Now, I know in the future, they definitely want people to have licenses for children. They'll have a children's license. If you're not granted a license, you can't have a family. And that's where it's all going to. Yeah. I mean, you need to check out the Georgia Guidestones. Go and Google Georgia Guidestones and read what it says. Yeah. It's a very serious situation now. Yeah. I mean, they're making it harder and harder for humans to live. Oh, this was another thing I was supposed to say now. Also, they got this universal credit situation. Now, universal credit is a type of benefit, but also they started speaking about 3 years ago about, instead of people working, you would be allotted a certain amount of money to live on because there'd be no jobs because everything would be automated. Yeah. So for the few people that's still alive, because the population won't be 7 billion then, yeah, you'll be allotted some money to live on. And literally, even today, they were talking about that on UK news. Suppose you got £45 a week to live on. And this is where it's all going. Yeah. So they're already talking about, making it unfashionable for people to own houses. Like in the UK, they say, well, in Germany, most people don't own their home, they rent. Why can't you rent here? Yeah. And, something I heard before, lady rang the radio about 5 years ago, LBC radio, and she had some inside information. Then she was, she's trying to keep herself calm. She said they want to take people back, like into Victorian times when you're like in a workhouse. You're working for your meal, you're working for your bed and board. And she was getting upset. And, then there's another people talking about they want people to live in dormitories. Yeah. You won't have a house, you won't have a family, you'll live in a dormitory. You'll come out of the dormitory to do your job in the community. Then you'll go back to your dormitory where you have a bed where you can sleep. And the next day you'll be allowed out to do your job in the community, sweeping, chimney sweeping, working in a sewer, plucking chicken feathers, going behind the horse and cart, sweeping up the horse manure because there won't be any cars and we'll be back to horse and carriages again. I mean, I don't know where it's all going to. Yeah. DJS and I'm out.